President Joe Biden has one of his most demented days during his presidency. The media work in unison during a White House press briefing to call out Joe Biden's confusion, and Don Lemon gets destroyed once again. All that and more here on The Paul Brad Show. Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. It is Thursday, September 29th, and as always, I couldn't be happier than to kick these mornings off right, doing the Bald Brad Show and hanging out with all of you, my friends and true American patriots, where we come together as a community of conservatives and Republicans, go over the stories of the day, and bring you all the news and information you need to know about. So if you want to join us here at the Bald Brad Show and you haven't already, what are you doing? Hit that like and subscribe button. If you're over at Rumble, hit the plus and give us a comment down below. And if you're listening on any of the podcast airwaves, Apple, Google, Spotify, heck, folks, you can find us and listen to us anywhere and everywhere. Leave us a lovely 5-star review. Not only would you be helping a conservative, but most importantly, you'd be supporting getting conservative thought and ideas out there to new viewers who haven't seen our content or our channel. So your help and support would be greatly appreciated. And folks, we hit another milestone here on the Bald Brad channel. We have over 15,000 subscribers. We are growing exponentially here, so make sure you hit that like button, but also make sure you have that bell notification icon clicked because look, we upload every single day, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, with segments of the show uploaded throughout the day, on top of Supernatural Saturdays and a sprinkling of politics on Sunday, folks. So make sure you're notified by having that bell icon clicked. With that being said, folks, I haven't been more excited for an episode in quite a while than this one today because Joe Biden's dementia was on full display. And I know it's been on full display since the guy was running for office, but what's different about this time is the media in yesterday's White House press briefing worked as one. I mean, you had half a dozen or more reporters in that room question Karine Jean-Pierre on Joe Biden's dementia. It was awesome to see. I know we hound the mainstream media all the time, but God, they really killed it yesterday, folks, and they deserve a pat on the back for what they did, because I'm going to show you about 3 or 4 clips from it, and if you want to see a little bit, just a little bit of a taste on how it went for Karine Jean-Pierre, this is a little bit of what it sounded like yesterday during the press briefing. Before we actually get into that segment, let's go ahead and roll it.
When you sign a bill for John Lennon as president, then we can have this conversation. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Just apologize.
These
moments of confusion are happening with the reason.
Go ahead.
Excuse me, there are
Americans are watching.
That's just a little bit of a taste, you guys. And wait till we get to it. It is one you don't want to miss, as always. And then we got Don Lemon just getting thrashed for his comments about trying to correlate the hurricane to climate change. So a lot of jam-packed video clips here for you all today. But as I mentioned, our lead story of the day is President Joe Biden's dementia on full display. It might be his worst one yet, and there's really no way to get around it. And Karine Jean-Pierre really tries to BS all of us, but she doesn't do it, of course. So you have Joe Biden on Wednesday, September 28th, had one of his most demented days ever. We have a video clip for you in just one moment. Biden kickstarted the day by calling out the dead. And when I mean the dead, he was literally looking for a person in the crowd that's been dead since August. As reported, Biden thanked a handful of bipartisan officials for putting together the White House correspondence on hunger, nutrition, and health. During his acknowledgement, folks, he asked Jackie, "Are you there? Where's Jackie?" Biden was referring to Congresswoman Jackie Walorski, who passed away last month in an automobile accident. He was totally unaware of his heir. It's truly baffling, you guys. It's truly baffling. We got a clip of it, and we're going to go ahead and roll it right now.
And so many of you know so much about this as well, and you're committed. And I want to thank all of you here for including bipartisan elected officials like Representative Governor, Senator Braun, Senator Booker, Representative Jackie. Are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here to help make this. And so many of you know so much.
I didn't think that she was going to be here. Folks, again, she's been passed away since August, and he's looking for her. And wait till you get to Karine Jean-Pierre's whole top of mind, it is so mind-blowing, the BSing that's coming from this administration. Probably top 5 worst BS moments from Karine Jean-Pierre in the White House. To make matters worse, the White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, defended the statements as if it was a normal thing to say. Jean-Pierre remarked she was of his mind. She was top of mind, and added that she didn't find his comments confusing. Everybody in the press briefing room yesterday was so baffled that they relentlessly questioned her, as they should have, on this whole debacle that they just witnessed earlier that day. Folks, we got a lot of clips here from this White House press briefing, and I'm not even going to show you all the reporters asking the same question, but boy, oh boy, was she lying to all of us. Here's a little bit of one of the reporters here asking the question to kick it off.
What happened in the hunger event today? The president appeared to look around the room for an audience member, a member of Congress who passed away last month. He seemed to indicate she might be in the room. What happened?
So the president was, as you all know, you guys were watching today's event, a very important event on food insecurity. The president was naming the congressional champions on this issue and was acknowledging her incredible work. He had already planned to welcome the Congresswoman's family to the White House on Friday. There will be a bill signing in her honor this coming Friday. So, of course, she was on his mind. She was of top of mind for the president. He very much looks forward to discussing her remarkable legacy of public service with them when he sees her family this coming Friday.
He said, "Jackie, are you here? Where's Jackie? She must not be here."
No, I totally understand.
Wow. What a follow-up. Like citing the exact quote. She was on his top of mind. Yeah, when somebody's on top of mind, they're thinking about them. Yeah, but he asked, where's Jackie? Jackie, are you here? A little bit more than a top of mind, right? Like you're looking for the person in the audience. What's her response here?
And I just explained she was on top of mind. This wasn't what we were able to witness today, and what the president was able to lift up in this at this conference, at this event, was how her focus on wanting to deal with, combat food insecurity in America. And this is something that he was lifting up and honoring. And again, he knows that he's going to see her family this coming Friday. There's a bill signing that's going to happen in renaming a VA clinic in Indiana after the late Congresswoman. He knows that he is going to see her family, and she was at top of mind.
It's remarkable. We got another clip here, folks. Just one moment. But I mean, you saw the BSing. That's where it starts. That was almost the first question, if not the first question that she was asked during that press briefing. And it just continues. Again, I'm not showing you all the reporters. I'm only selecting a few of them because we would be here for literally the entire Bald Brad show, just covering everybody asking the same question from the press briefing room. Like I said, we hound the media all the time, but damn, did they do a good job yesterday, and damn, do they deserve a pat on the back for acknowledging how Joe Biden's kind of losing it and has been losing it for a while, and now everybody sees it on full display, and now they're being called out for it.
Trying to get my head around the response. If the late Congresswoman was top of mind for the president and her family was expected to be here, and that's what he was thinking about, why was he looking for her? I'm not trying to be snarky here.
No, I mean, and I'm...
Between what you were saying and what he said there.
And again, I think people can understand. I think the American people out there who, watch the briefing from time to time, maybe at this moment, will understand when someone is at top of mind. And this was such an important event when we're talking about hunger, when we're talking about food insecurity, when we're talking about these champions, these congressional champions who were in the room, who have worked in a bipartisan way. We don't talk much about bipartisan actions that we see in Congress at this time. And as he was naming folks, she was on top of mind, and he understands and knew that he was going to see her family on Friday for this bill signing. Again, I don't think it's all that unusual to have someone top of mind, especially as there's a big event, 2 big events today and also Friday that is going to occur. And so he's going to see her family. They're going to honor her. They're going to celebrate her, and he will do a bill signing for this really critical, let's not forget, this critical, important issue for millions and millions of Americans across the country.
It's remarkable. And by the way, when you see somebody continually say the same thing over and over again, meaning top of mind, was on the mind, was when you see family, that means there was a massive problem that went behind the scenes, meaning Joe Biden got confused. His dementia came out because he probably wasn't hopped up on drugs from Jill Biden giving him the drugs. And so now it's on full display and they're scrambling, trying to figure out, hey, let's keep it simple, top of mind. Everybody's going to fall for it. The American people that watch the briefing, folks, I think they could see it. Like, no, we see Joe Biden's confusion is what we see, Karine. And now you're trying to lie to all of us, and we're seeing past your BS, and so is the reporters, because boy, oh boy, does it continue here with another question from another reporter.
I just wanted to return to this question of the Congresswoman, and I think we all totally get why she's top of mind. You've made that case pretty effectively. But I think the confusing part is why, if she and the family is top of mind, does the president think that she's living and in the room?
I don't find that confusing. I mean, I think many people can speak to sometimes when you have someone top of mind, they're a top of mind, exactly that. And it is also, if you put it into the context, it's not like it happened outside of context, right? It happened at an event where we were calling out the champions, congressional champions in particular, of this issue, this important issue when it comes to food insecurity, something that this administration has led on from the beginning of this administration, not just across the country, but also globally. You heard him talk about food insecurity last week at the UN and the investments that we have put forward as the United States of America in helping deal with that. Look, he was at an event, you all watched, which is why you're asking the question, right, where he was calling out, again, congressional leaders, a bipartisan leadership that we have seen on this particular issue. And again, he's going to see her family in just 2 days. And she was on top of mind. I mean, that is not an unusual scenario there.
Karine, I have John Lennon top of mind just about every day, but I'm not looking around for him anywhere.
Wow! Oh my God! What a comeback! Oh my God! Look, damn, I don't even know what to say. Look at her face. Like, she just got slapped. I mean, look, folks, Peter Ducey's pretty good. So is Jackie Henrick, and Phil, you're great as well. But we haven't seen a comeback like that yet. Damn, what's her response?
When you sign a bill for John Lennon as president, then we can have this conversation. Okay, go ahead.
These moments of confusion are happening with the frequency.
Go ahead.
Excuse me,
Americans are watching this and are having concerns. What do you say to that? This is a legitimate question. We need to have some answers.
There you go. The media see it. Everybody sees it. The same media that's been rubbing their shoulders is getting a little frustrated now because, look, there's no way of hiding this. And there hasn't been any way of hiding this. And now, when you're looking for dead people, how do you explain that? It's not about top of mind. Okay, I got family members that die. They're on my mind every single day, but you don't see me looking for them, right? You don't, do I see them? Oh, are they going to be here? No, because you know that they're dead. You know that they're not going to show up, okay? This dude has been losing his mind for quite some time now. And like I said, it's on full display and they just got called out for it. But top of mind, I think the American people can understand. No, we can't, Karine. And neither can the media. When literally one of them literally said, I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. That was the second one, the second reporter. That was just 3 reporters, you guys. There's almost all of them. Phil Wegman asked the question. You had those 3. I think there was 2 other people, maybe more, that asked the same exact question. And that's why they're all losing their minds, because they're being lied to straight to their face. And they just want an answer. They want an answer and they're not getting it. And they're so tired of being BS to their face. They are so tired of it. And I'm tired of it for them. There's progressive left in that room reporters. There's Democrats. There's Republicans, conservatives, independents, all that stuff. I'm frustrated for them. I'm on their side. Answer their damn questions for once. But they're not going to do it. They're going to try to hide this dude's dementia, which, boy, oh boy, can you imagine when it comes out to find out the president of the United States has been confused, that somebody else is running the puppet, somebody else is running the show? That's going to be the biggest story, or at least one of the biggest stories in American history. The fact that some dude got in the office, an elected Democrat, somehow got elected with dementia and all this forgetful stuff, and somehow he's running the show, which makes sense though. as to why everything's going down the drain because you got a guy that's confused, that's looking around for dead people. Go figure. Well, speaking of somebody else that's confused and just can't wrap their head around it, we got Don Lemon here. God, I love when Don Lemon just gets shellacked. So if you recall, the other week, we did a video segment on Don Lemon talking to a royal British correspondent about how the monarchy's evil and racist and all the stuff they've done in the past, colonialism. And he's asking, well, they should pay reparations, right? They have the money for it. They should pay reparations. And she just absolutely shellacked Don Lemon to the point where he didn't even know what to say. Well, Don Lemon's back again, not talking to a British royal journalist, but he's talking about Hurricane Ian and how it's bearing down on Florida's west coast, asking basically, how does that correlate to climate change? And it doesn't go well for him, folks, because he don't know what's going on here in terms of the correlation between the two. He doesn't expect the guy that handles the hurricane. I don't know if it's a meteorologist or what the term is for him, but it's on CNN. You kind of expect the people to be on CNN to kind of go progressive left and be like, oh yeah, it's the climate change is really affecting it. That's why this hurricane is so much bigger. Doesn't go the way Don Lemon wants. Let's go ahead and roll the clip.
Can you tell us what this is and what effect climate change has on this phenomenon?
Well, we can come back and talk about climate change at a later time. I want to focus on the here and now. We think the rapid intensification is probably almost done. There could be a little bit more intensification as it's still over the warm waters of the eastern Gulf of Mexico, but I don't think we're going to get any more rapid intensification. If you look here, you can actually see, pretty interesting for your viewers, you can actually see a second eye wall forming around the inner eye wall, and that's basically the second eye wall has overtaken the original eye wall, and that should arrest development.
So listen, I'm just trying to get that. You said you want to talk about climate change, but what effect does climate change have on this?
He didn't say he wants to talk about climate change, Don. He said that he's more than happy to have the conversation about climate change later, but he wants to focus on the here and now. So you got to listen with your ears because you're just like every other person that's on the progressive side that they don't want to listen and answer the questions and actually, interview the person that's in front of them correctly, of which they want to do. They want to talk about the present here and now, but no, let's talk about climate change, of which he wanted to have at a future date. No, go ahead, Don. Go ahead.
Phenomenon that is happening now, because it seems these storms are intensifying. That's the question here.
I don't think you can link climate change to any one event. Okay. On the whole, on the cumulative, climate change may be making storms worse, but to link it to any one event, I would caution against that.
Okay. Well, listen, I grew up there, and these storms are intensifying. Something is causing them to intensify. So this storm is just...
I would like to point out, folks, it's hurricane season for Florida. This isn't uncommon. They do this whole charade all the time, especially in California. We just got done with the heat wave. I've lived here for 33 years. Every time around this year, guess what happens? It gets hot. Every time, every year. And every year they're baffled by it. Like, oh my God, it went up 2 degrees. Oh, breaking records. Oh my God, this has just never happened. Has to be climate change. It just must be. So you got a Category 3 hurricane, which is bad. And it's in Florida. And I think by the time it hit landfall, I think it was Category 4. It's happened. So it's not uncommon. But this is what they're gonna do. They're gonna push this fear factor and climate change, and we'll get to that in just one moment.
It's a massive one. Its effects are also being felt in the southern part of Florida. What about the areas that may not be taking a direct hit or experiencing the storm surge, like on the West Coast? How much will the rest of the state be impacted?
Yeah, that's actually a good question, because we flip out to this other graphic. You can see this orange area is the size. So if you think about how big the wind field is, and you can just see how big that wind field is relative to traditional hurricanes, and as that moves up and over the Florida Peninsula into the southeast United States, you can see this big area, blue area of tropical storm warnings. So it's really going to be a big event for not just...
So you have him detailing this out, in some way, shape, or form, discrediting what Don Lemon says. But to go back to this whole climate change thing and pushing it, I mean, really pushing it here to try and correlate this to climate change, they're going to do everything they possibly can. If you recall, the old technical director, Charlie Chester of CNN, was exposed by Project Veritas. And he talked about, on that tape, about pushing climate change because he said that fear sells. And really the conversation was surrounding at the time around COVID-19, how they're pushing it, fear sells, you can get a lot of power from it, you can really move the masses, you can change their minds, you can do all sorts of things with fear. And the question kind of rose, well, what happens after COVID? And you know what he said? climate change. CNN is going to push climate change. You're going to see the progressive left push climate change, and you see it on full display here right now. But if you recall, Don Lemon doesn't have a bias, you guys. He is not biased at all. That's not my words. That is his words. And he's been questioned on that multiple times, one of which Ben Shapiro back in maybe like 4 years ago questioned him on it, saying, Don, you're biased. Why not just be open about it? And he's making the claim he isn't biased when clearly CNN has a narrative. That's why a lot of them have been fired. Chris Cuomo, Brian Stelter, the most recent one, for having to show reliable sources, go figure. Well, he's been ousted. Don Lemon and Anderson Cooper somehow are still around. It's like, does anybody watch their shows? Honest to God, does anybody watch Don Lemon? Why would you? With that, really, that's the question you're going to ask is climate change as freaking people are getting hit with a Category 4 hurricane? Well, I've lived there. These are getting stronger somehow. Yeah, okay, Don, sure. Keep pushing it, because fear sells, and they know that it sells, and people are willing to give up their liberties because of fear. And we can't go, oh, well, Brad, I don't believe that. Look at COVID-19. People were willing to give up their freedoms and their liberties to give the government the power to tell them what to do, shut down their businesses. They couldn't take out certain loans. They couldn't get a paycheck. All sorts of things happened. People were so willing to give up their freedom and have the government tell them what to do rather than the people telling the government what to do, which is how it's supposed to work. But hey, folks, scary times we live in. You never know when it's going to happen again. It possibly could happen once. It's bound to repeat itself. And this is what they're going to do, push an agenda upon all of us. And it's not just pushing climate change. It's not just pushing fear, but it's also trying to make a referendum on the GOP. We're the bad guys. We're the ones that don't believe in climate change or global warming or whatever the hell it's called. They're going to make the referendum on us. We have to do everything we can to get our viewpoint out there. And that's why it's so important to like shows like this and other conservative shows. Hit that subscribe button. Share these links with your friends and family, because it's this type of stuff we need to highlight, because they're going to, again, try to make a referendum on us for this November. And we got to make sure the referendum is on them, because they're the ones that are pushing false narratives. You just saw it on complete display with Karine Jean-Pierre lying to everybody about Joe Biden's dementia, and the media sees it now. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure we expose the Democrat Party and the progressive left for what they're doing, lying to Americans each and every day. As always, folks, hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you tomorrow here on The Bald Brad Show.